Hello and welcome. You are gaming with me, Brothgar, and by now we all know that guy here in Hotwire who's always running around with an RPG, and that seems to be the only weapon that he's mildly skilled at, and just runs around and basically kills everybody on the other team, and then the other team retaliates with RPGs, and the next thing you know, all we're doing is running around with a bunch of javelins sticking out of the side of cars and making for a game that is quite frankly not as fun as it could be. But that's what the topic that is on today, because there's going to be a patch that is rumored to be coming out here on the 28th that might be just patching this RPG. So what is the patch really all about? Well, the idea is that they're going to take the RPG and reduce it to one round out of the back of a vehicle, and I gotta admit that kind of makes sense here. As you can see in the post in front of here, there's a lot of different balance changes that might just be coming here on the 28th. But if we take a look at downtown Hotwire, there are 6 per team, and then there are 4 additional locations on the map where an RPG can spawn. So if you add that up, yeah, that is 16 different RPGs that could be running around the map at any given time. Now they are also talking about how they're going to reduce the amount of splash damage it does, which means you have to actually hit the target to get a kill rather than just hitting next to it. Now I got to admit, most of the times you get a kill is when you're actually getting a direct hit, and the RPG just doesn't take skill to begin with, especially here in Hotwire, because it just does not have a drop rate as it did back in the previous battlefields. And as you can see right there, I mopped those guys up real easily, but if I didn't have that extra round, that other car would have gotten away unless I pulled out my M320, which is another explosive device I happen to have on hand. So I don't know, I think in many ways reducing the amount of ammunition is definitely going to reduce the amount of threat from one particular person, but I don't think it's really going to reduce the threat of somebody who is just spawning into a car, grabbing that RPG, jumping out, and killing you in one shot. And I think the idea of keeping the damage the same is actually an appropriate idea, because having that damage and being able to like kill a car in one shot should always be part of the game if you happen to have one of those very powerful weapons. Which makes sense, you know, I mean, it absolutely makes sense. Now, did I actually miss one of these on the maps? Yes, there are 6 per teams, there are 4 that can actually spawn in the cars, and then there is 1 extra location on the map, but it's not technically an RPG. That's kind of why I forgot it. But there is another one that does the same sort of thing. Now, I believe that one would probably still have 2 ammunition, so that might be your biggest threat, but all in all, yeah, that is definitely a big change. But as you can see here, the H car is a battle rifle, and I've been trying to get pretty good at this weapon. This was early on, I've gotten a lot better at it, and I like the weapon, and I'm glad they're actually buffing the weapon so that it's a little bit more useful, because right now it's definitely not on par with everything else in the game. But that's another one of those big changes. The other thing though is, should we actually reduce the amount of time it takes for an RPG to spawn? Or the idea that maybe once you pull it out of the back of the car, no matter, even if you get into the car again as somebody else, it doesn't just randomly spawn there. And that might be another fix that has to happen. I don't know, when you're talking about 16 different RPGs on a map, that's a lot of threat no matter how many players you have, especially when you consider that that number is always available for even smaller maps. I mean, you got an 8-on-8 situation and everybody can have an RPG. I mean, that kind of sounds like a good time to me, but it definitely could be a game breaker. So that's kind of the ideas right there. I am always a big fan of the RPG. I have 255 kills with rockets if you actually include the other thing, which is going to be the anti-air, which I believe is going to remain untouched. So I gotta admit, it is one of my top killing devices here in the Battlefield Hardline. I believe I got more kills with the RPG than I do with any rifle. However, I happen to be quite diverse on my rifles because I like to try different things. At any rate, guys, I was able to mop up 22 kills without sweating a bit. Yeah, gotta love that RPG and them easy kills. As always, guys, I want you guys to stay awesome. I will see you in the next episode. If you like this video, maybe hit that like button on the way out. Maybe share it with your friends if that's the best way to actually support my channel. So thank you guys so very much. And if it's your first time, maybe hit that subscribe button. I got a lot more Battlefield Hardline stuff coming at you. It's going to be, some of it's going to be this post process, some of it's going to be Let's Play, and some of it's just going to be live. As always, guys, though, have a great day. I will see you in the next episode. Peace. Brothgar out.